Hello, friend of karmic affinity. Try closing your eyes and imagining a misty morning, when the alarm has not yet rung, when the phone screen has not yet lit up with notifications, and when not a single word has been uttered. In that rare moment of stillness, can you feel the infinite peace that is present? However, as soon as we step into the whirlwind of a new day, we seem to lose that precious tranquility. We live in a world that glorifies connection and sharing. We are taught that we must speak out, reveal ourselves, and connect continuously to feel unburdened. But paradoxically, the more we share, the more our souls seem to become agitated, anxious, and empty. Have you ever wondered why, after long conversations or after posting a status update, you feel your energy has been drained? The Buddha once taught that silence is sometimes more eloquent and wise than 10,000 words. There are things belonging to the inner world that, if spoken at the wrong time or to the wrong person, become arrows that turn back to wound your own peace. Discretion at this time is not hiding or escaping, but a form of practice to protect your life energy. Today, let us sit back together, take a deep breath, and explore 5 top secrets that, according to ancient wisdom, you should keep to yourself so that your soul may always reside in steady peace. The first condition: do not randomly share your inner peace. The first and most important thing you need to learn to preserve is your inner peace. My dear friend, understand peace correctly. It is not those moments of extreme euphoria when you achieve something. It is a stable, deep, and quiet state, like a lake surface without a ripple. Imagine your soul as an ancient temple located deep within an old forest. That temple is your most sacred sanctuary. However, when we rush to tell everyone about our peace or our meditative experiences, we are unintentionally flinging open the doors of that temple. We allow others to walk in with the muddy feet of judgment, prejudice, and negative energy. The Buddha taught about detachment, meaning not letting the mind be entangled by external circumstances. When you share too much about your inner state, you are handing power to others. You wait for them to praise, recognize, or nod in approval. And if they react with indifference or doubt, your peace is immediately shaken. Remember, not everyone has enough wisdom to appreciate your stillness. Protect the temple of your soul as you would protect a lamp before the wind. To the outside world, share kindness and goodness generously, but keep the sanctuary of peace for yourself. The second condition: do not share negative thoughts and complaints. The second thing we must be extremely cautious about before speaking is negative thoughts, complaints, or momentary anger. The Buddha taught about right speech, and he compared our minds to a fertile garden. Every thought is a seed. If you sow seeds of joy, fragrant flowers will bloom. But if you constantly speak words of dissatisfaction and hatred, you are sowing toxic weeds. We often think that by speaking out our frustrations, we will be unburdened. But the reality is quite the opposite. When a negative thought only exists in the head, it is still weak. But when you give it form through words, you provide it with energy to become many times more vivid and powerful. The more you complain, the more you feel like a miserable victim. The more you talk about how hateful someone is, the more fiercely the fire of hatred burns in your heart. Furthermore, negative energy is contagious. When you dump emotional trash on others, you are unintentionally pulling them down into the same deep pit of exhaustion. That is when words create karma of suffering instead of connection. Next time a dark thought appears, please slow down. Practice a sacred pause. Ask your heart, will these words bring peace or suffering? Are they truly necessary and wholesome? If the answer is no, then silence is the wisest response. Transform the trash into flowers within stillness yourself, instead of throwing it into someone else's house. The third condition: do not rashly share. Deep-seated hurts. The third thing, a very sensitive matter that you need to learn to keep as carefully as a fragile treasure, is your deep-seated hurts and your own weaknesses. My dear friend, every one of us carries unhealed scars. It could be a past failure, a hidden fear, or a family pain. Natural instinct urges us to share, to seek comfort. But there is a truth we must bravely face. Not everyone has the capacity to cherish your trust. When you rashly expose your heart's wounds to the wrong person, you are putting yourself at risk. Some will listen with cold indifference. Some will use your story as gossip over tea and wine. And more painfully, some will use those very weaknesses as weapons to attack you when conflict arises. Keeping hurts private does not mean you must close your heart or isolate yourself. It means you are practicing wisdom and connection. Learn to be selective. Only open your heart to those in whom you feel the presence of compassion, the ability for deep listening, and who provide a sense of safety. A deep wound needs a very gentle hand to be bandaged. If you have not yet found that hand, embracing and soothing the pain yourself in stillness is safer than exposing yourself to the wind and dust of judgment. Cherish yourself enough not to hand the key of your soul to hurried passers-by. The fourth condition: keep future plans and intentions private. The fourth thing you need to learn to keep in the treasure chest of silence is your great plans and intentions for the future. My dear friend, when we come up with a new idea, the feeling of excitement often urges us to tell the whole world immediately. But did you know that the very moment you speak of those unformed things, you have unintentionally placed a huge burden of pressure on your shoulders? Your plan is now bound by the expectations, scrutiny, and sometimes the hidden doubt or envy of others. The Buddha taught that craving too much for the future brings suffering. When you talk too much about what you will do, you are consuming precious energy that should be spent on actually doing. You become distracted by explaining and presenting instead of acting. Learn to move in silence. Let your quiet effort speak most powerfully through actual results. Just as a seed needs the darkness of the soil to sprout, your intentions need stillness to accumulate strength. Do not let your dreams die young just because of careless words. Protect them, nurture them in the present, and let the future answer for itself. The fifth condition: do not boast about the good deeds you have done. The final thing, and also the most noble lesson on humility, is to keep the good deeds you have given away private. My dear friend, doing good deeds is the most brilliant expression of compassion. But there is a very thin line between genuine kindness and the nurturing of a proud ego. When you help someone and immediately take that story everywhere to seek praise, the nature of that action has changed. It is no longer unconditional giving. It is turned into an exchange. You trade material things for fame. The Buddha taught about formless charity, meaning giving without seeing oneself as the benefactor, without seeing the receiver as indebted, and without craving reward. When you boast, that merit loses its purity. Practice being a silent hero. Let your kindness be like a cool breeze or a wild flower blooming deep in the forest. Whether anyone sees it or not, the flower still releases its sweet fragrance as an offering to life. Giving him silence is the way to nurture your soul to become its lightest and most noble. You do not need a spotlight to shine, because the light of compassion is already inherently radiant in your heart. My dear friend, closing today's journey, may you engrave in your heart that the maturity of a person is not measured by how much we can say, but by what we know to keep in the stillness of the soul. We have walked together through 5 doors of self-cultivation, preserving peace to nurture inner strength, holding back negative words to avoid selling suffering, sheltering heart wounds to heal oneself, cradling intentions in the dark so they have the strength to rise high, and hiding good deeds so that compassion remains at its purest. Silence is not emptiness, but the pinnacle of wisdom. When you know how to select what should be said and what should be kept, you are mastering the kingdom of your mind. If this video brought you a little peace, please click the subscribe button so we can continue to accompany each other on the path of awakening. May you always maintain tranquility and kindness in every step you take. Goodbye, and see you again. Would you like me to help you draft a short daily reminder based on these 5 conditions to help you practice discretion